Hi, it's Margaret, and thank you for joining me here on the Gardening Me. Today, I am doing something that I have tried to kind of avoid doing for the last year or so, and that is I am getting rid of this plant right here. This is a heliopsis, and the variety is new hybrids. Now, let me just go in here for a closer look. I really love this plant. It's beautiful. It's a zone 3 to 9 perennial, and right now it's probably pushing around 6 feet or so. It normally gets around 5 feet tall, but it's gotten a bit taller because of all the rain we've had this year. And in fact, last year it did the exact same thing. It was pushing the 6-foot mark as well. Now, it has beautiful single, semi-double blooms, and this entire plant, and it probably stretches out to about 4-5 feet around on the canopy here. It started off as a 1-gallon pot, and that's all this was. It's a really beautiful, sturdy plant with all the wind we get in this area, and this is relatively exposed to the west here, which is where all our wind comes from. It doesn't need staking. It stands beautifully upright. It also blooms from July, around mid-July or so, all the way to the fall, if I keep it deadheaded. So that is this plant in a nutshell. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, if it's such a great plant, which it is, why am I getting rid of it? And the reason is because it is, well, actually, let me show you what it is. You see all that? Amongst a few weeds in there, but the majority of what you see in this entire area are tiny little seedlings. It is a prolific self-seeder. And in fact, I have a gorgeous Baptisia, and it is now getting smothered here by this plant. It is probably, I'd say, half, less than half even, the size that it was last year. And I really, really like this guy. I really want to save it. Now, Baptisia are not easy to move. They have a deep taproot, so chances are if I try to move it, it's going to die. Now, every year I say to myself, I am just going to deadhead this guy, maybe give it the Chelsea chop. And every year I don't do that. I kind of let it go, and then I find a ton of seedlings on the ground from around this time of year all the way to fall. So I have decided to bite the bullet kind of, because it's stressing me out a little bit actually. And I am just going to dig it out. I also have a bit of self-seeding here from some swamp milkweed that I'll probably also be pulling up quite a bit of that as well. And then I'll be adding a good layer of mulch to this area. Now, I really, really love how this looks here, and I believe there are some varieties of heliopsis that are sterile. So I'm going to be looking into that. Otherwise, I may just cut out a chunk of the Henry Eiler's Rudbeckia, which is right beside it here, and it's just starting to bloom now. I may cut out a chunk of that and kind of put it in its place, but kind of a little further back so it doesn't encroach on the poor Baptisia. So that's a task for another day. Today, it's just a matter of getting this guy out and dealing with all those self-seeded seedlings. I am really looking forward to just cleaning up this whole area because, oh, I don't know, this kind of mess, I guess, of seedlings just stresses me out. If I left it like this, I would have probably nothing but heliopsis here next year, and that's not what I want. So I am going to set the camera up, and I think the first thing I am going to do is just cut down this heliopsis. I will dig out what I can, and then I will just get to weeding the little seedlings that have come up. And yeah, I think after a good layer of mulch is down on the ground, I'll be a lot happier with this area. And we are done. It looks so much better. Makes me feel so much better. So what I did was, there was actually a drip line that was right beside the Baptisia. They like it a little bit on the drier side, so I moved it out a bit. And there was also some self-seeding, I think, of the Baptisia going on. I saved a couple of little seedlings in this area here, and then I noticed a bunch of seedlings in this area as well. So I saved a few from here just to see what happens. The Baptisia here is a hybrid, so the seedlings won't be true to type. But, you know, I'm just interested to see what happens, what comes of them. Anyhow, so that's looking awesome. I also didn't really pile up a lot of mulch around the Baptisia as well because it likes it on the drier side. So I put just a tiny little bit to keep down any weeds that come up in that area, but that's about it. And yeah, so this whole area was done. I did keep this drip line on top of the soil so I can see where it is when I eventually do plant something here. In the meantime, so that I just didn't have some gaping hole here, I just filled the hole with mulch. It just looks like, you know, an empty spot in the bed. So here is the heliopsis that I cut down, and here is the clump that's left. So I am probably going to throw this on my hilltop, which is kind of like where I throw stuff where I don't mind if it runs around, I don't mind if it self-sows, you know, it can do its thing there, because there's a lot of buckthorn that comes up in that area, there's a lot of garlic mustard that comes up in that area, so anything I can put up there that will compete with that, I'm happy with. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do with that. And that's about it for today. I am going to go back inside because it is super hot and muggy. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.